Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. And first, I want to start this analysis by sharing my apology of a mishap in the previous video that I did. There was a problem with my editor. I just realized that something did not go on well, but it's work in progress. So we were in a position, we thank God that we have new equipment. So we know that as time goes, our sound will improve and also the quality of our video. Thank you for a few people that came on board for that. I spent today better part of the Monday in town, and the talk of town is what is happening at Iebc. While this, for better part of the weekend, was actually reported as just a dragnet, or maybe the three foreigners from Venezuela were just nabbed at the airport by frisking officers. But I was actually persuaded that there was more than what catches the eye, and perhaps there are deep forces behind this. Let me remind you, people are asking, how did the other two who are already in the country get their way in, and under what was their premise, or what were they coming to do, or what were they doing before? I remember asking that in my analysis. And something that you will come to realize is DCI in their press briefing mentioned that the two gentlemen arrived here on 15th July, and it is believed that they might have overcame the system dragnets through some dubious ways. Now, I had a call with just a conversation with someone who had worked at one of the airports in this country, and what I wanted to know was this: when someone is coming, now the visa inasema maybe is business or is a contractor or is coming to do something. Of course, visa is processed at the embassy. How can people know, or someone at the airport knowing that that person is coming? How can such a deal be intercepted? But he was telling me that while Mkenya akitoka nje akikuja hapa anakuanga frisked kuliko ata a foreigner coming to Kenya. But of course, this could not be divulged, but he was telling me that there are some countries zenye zinakuanga under some categories. So mtu akitoka hizo countries, and Venezuela might not be one of those countries. I don't want to confirm that. Mtu akitoka some of those countries, wanakuanga, there is normally high, wanafriskiwa sana, because those countries are believed to be maybe in the radar of international community. So one thing that we realize, I came to realize from our conversation, is that whatever happened at JKA on Thursday was not just a coincidence. It was not just an effect of a usual frisking or just finding out what's happening. And by the way, just ask yourself this question: kama umetoka and you have papers, hata kama ni stickers za Iebc, and of course they're wrapped somewhere because they're not exposed, they're wrapped, hiyo machine itapitia tu kujua tu what is there. They might not go finer into the finer details of what you're having. If they are papers, they'll just see which papers are they. So someone had an idea that a gentleman was leaving Venezuela for the country, and from that it was used as a way to expose what was happening at Iebc. The baseline here is this. In fact, she was telling me that Kevin most probably, after when this guy was leaving Venezuela to the country, he was on the radar. The officials at JKA had a tip-off, and knew what exactly was going on. Remember, he was booked in by that Abdi Mohammed. So this is a private citizen. When he was coming, alikuja kama private citizen. There are many people when you wanaita contractors, even countries, even companies that pay contractors and normally hire contractors from the other countries na wanakuja in Kenya daily. So what could make this one very special? The baseline here is there were high intensity vigilance on whatever was going on. And so this brings me to this question. Which are some of these deep forces at Iebc that is exposing the dealings? Well, many can look at it as just President Uhuru Kenyatta's influence in governing the transition, and politicians seems to have had their fair share of it, taking the sword to President Uhuru Kenyatta, trying to interfere. There are those who have also blamed the police and DCI for interfering with the independence of the commission, and there is just a lot of things that have been said in this. But in this video, I will try to give it a different approach and just reflections into what have been happening, what exactly might be bringing whatever we are witnessing at the commission. I want to humbly request you to subscribe to this channel and also kindly click the notification bell. And I want to humbly request you that make sure you support. Kindly we support Sarah Atieno, a bill of 900,000. It's just a lot, but as I was shooting this video, she had gathered around 110,000. Yeah, and hizo ni zenye zimeingia kwa namba yake. So you can still reach out to Sarah. Sarah's number is 07 16 357 360. 07 16 357 360. And we know that at least atatoka aende apige kura bana. Now, there are Chris Musando sympathizers in the commission. It is during this moment that Kenya lost, or that Iebc lost head of ICT, Chris Musando. And I want to see a probability, there is a probability that there are people who worked at the commission in 2017, likely still maybe 2013, they might have witnessed what happened during the death of Chris Musando, and there is an internal conviction, rather there is a cohort within that commission that maybe are believing that they want for once to have a free and fair election, and will not want to see what happened in the last general election. Even though there is an element of fright, but there is something, and some of the things don't come from the moon. Most probably they come from the commission. They come from inside. It's an inside deal. So that could be some of the deep powers that are exposing the dirty dealing. Because I want to link that with an observation that we can make. The commission is headed by secretariat. There is secretariat and there is the commission. Then the other administrative roles is done by the secretariat. Then different departments, warehouse, the contract implementation team, and there is just a lot of it. Remember in 2017, after that general election, there was a fallout between Wafula Chebukati and one Ezra Chiloba. Ezra Chiloba, after he was sacked at the commission as the CEO, he did not go far, and President Uhuru Kenyatta strategically placed him in another docket communications authority that is also playing a pivotal role in this election. I want to say that that breakout, or rather not that breakup between Chebukati and Ezra Chiloba can create a camp, or can create some pseudo powers that can be exposing whatever is happening. Because I remember in 2017, Wafula Chebukati carried the blame, and all the election flaws, he carried the technical blames on Ezra Chiloba. And because Ezra Chiloba is now part of what I can say are the deep state, even though I want to acknowledge, I don't know how deep is deep state, the way Matiang'i said, Ezra Chiloba might also be having networks, and there are people and there are a lot of infrastructure that he put there. I want to believe that just like some of the Kim's kit were used in 2017 and being used here, there is a lot of digital infrastructure that was used in 2017 that perhaps is still going to be used now. And Chiloba can still be having maybe some secret access to these infrastructures. And that is why I'm saying that this is not just as easy as a clerical officer doing frisking and checks and finding someone with stray Iebc materials. That is something you cannot underestimate. And many people, this election, many people have been questioning, why did Iebc exempt themselves from the multi-agency team that was formed, that was bringing together CS Matiang'i, AG Kihara, Martha Koome, head of judiciary, and the other government agencies that were to play a role in this election. I am seeing a possibility that after the commission chickened out of that, there is a likelihood that President Uhuru Kenyatta, or rather the government, planted high-tech intelligence, keen high vigilance intelligence on the commission, because from the word go, I think the government had trailed some of the activities of the commission, and they were doubting the credibility and the commitment of the commission to have a free and fair election. So there is a probability that they planted there the high-tech intelligence, and it is that intelligence that is exposing whatever is happening there. This will be, for me, this will be the best way to handle it, because you should put, if someone wants to do a monkey business, he doesn't know who is spying him. Maybe you create a suspicion environment, even though this creates very fringe, this shrinks the freedom space for the staff working there. But for the sake of the election, I think at the top management, there should be this suspicion, so that everyone can work independently, independent thinking, and follow what is supposed to be done. A situation where you don't know who is spying you. That would be a very good, for me, I would rather suggest that is the best. So that someone doesn't know. You know that everything you are doing it yourself, and you'll be held accountable. You don't know who is recording you. That probably is also something that you can see. Remember, when the ballot boxes were supposed to be brought at the airport, I think the vice chair of the commission was saying that he was told the previous night. So you could see these cracks were there. This for me is not something that can surprise me, because Wafula Chebukati is leading a commission that, after spearheading the 2017 general election, some resigned under due pressure. It is under his tenure that also one of the commissioners, Rhodes Nakombe, mysteriously escaped from the commission and is now a fugitive somewhere out of the country. And there have just been a lot of undoings there. In fact, I appreciate this statement, or rather this observation by many, that after the 2017, even after all those dramas and even nullification of the presidential results, Raila Odinga, William Ruto, and President Uhuru Kenyatta really had relaxed on calling for reforms at the commission. In fact, immediately after 2017, if there was someone that was supposed to leave the commission, that person was supposed to be Wafula Chebukati. But the trust that he was given perhaps did not pay the bill for the trust. Lastly, I see Tenderpreneurs converging to expose the commission. Remember the issue about ballot printing tender? It was very contentious. My position has ever been that even though politicians might get into this, but this was purely a business. Smartmatic was also in competition with other companies, but it is understood that perhaps it was because they offered that service probably last general election, so it was direct sourcing, procurement. But I also see other companies that perhaps maybe they were approached by the commission that do this service and that, but later when they realized things were happening, they were also trying to expose, because the truth of the matter here is the way, if the Kenyan election in 2019 is going to affect the image of Smartmatic, then that might affect their possibility of even getting another tender in Africa or even in the world. So I see that as a possibility that the people that did not get what they intended to get are also out to expose what can be a dirty business. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take. I don't know what you think. Who are behind this? That is the question, because I don't think the smoke is just coming from nowhere. And I also continue reminding us, kindly let's help Sarah. Let's send something. At least Sarah took hospitali bana.